Today they line up Scott Base and Windspell in the Group 1 Tarzino over 1,400 metres, and co-trainer Johno Bennett joins us on the Punters Lounge this morning. Good morning, Johno. How is the vibe at the stable and the trip over to Hastings? How was everything there this morning?
Yeah, good. Obviously we're just heading over now, but look, our horses are in as good order as we can have them. They've had a good sort of 10 days since they trialled at Taupo, and their preparation's gone pretty smoothly, so we're pretty happy with where we are.
Let's talk about Scott Base first of all, Johno. How much time did you give him away from the races in terms of his spell, and what has his preparation been like in terms of improvement?
Yeah, look, he went out straight after the Wellington Guineas. So he's been back in. He sort of had probably about 8 to 10 weeks off, I believe, and he's sort of been in ever since, building up. Spends a lot of time at the beach. Helps him along. Yeah, he's sort of just been building up nicely. Obviously, we needed that trial at Taupo. It was pretty important that we had a good competitive trial against good opposition, just to sort of see where we were at. And no doubt he was going to improve with it. And what he's shown us since, he's definitely improved with it. And his work on Tuesday morning at Foxton was first class to look at and on the clock. And his recovery was very good. So, look, although there's improvement in him today, it's not his grand final by any means. We do hold him in very high regard, and obviously he's very special. And these good ones can do special things. So, we're pretty hopeful he'll run pretty big.
You just speak of his work during the week, Johno. In comparison to the horse first up in the past, do you feel as though he's a better horse than what the punters have seen in a fresh state before?
It's sort of hard to gauge. It's hard to quantify that, I suppose. I mean, he is stepping out of age group level into the big time. I think it is in my opinion, it's a subtle step. I think he'll take it. But yeah, he's every bit as talented still. He wants to be there. If anything, he's actually a far more relaxed horse, and he's growing up a lot in that regard. He used to get a little bit toey on race day and was a bit of a big baby, if you will. So he's sort of a lot more settled and just taking things in a stride a little bit more, which I think is crucial for this top level. They have to be switched off before the race and go through those paces well. So he's a lot better in that regard.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it as much as what you are, Johno, seeing him first up to the races today, Scott Base. Tactically, what would be the ideal scenario for him?
Yeah, look, it probably doesn't map very well for him. Everyone you talk to says that inside strip, it's going to be the place to be, and which, in my opinion, I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible to go to the races and you're sort of thinking, oh, you've got to be here or here. I wish they wouldn't move the running rail and maybe just not race sort of a month before a big carnival like this and just let the track be. But in saying that, so we're probably going to get back midfield, maybe just worse in midfield, and we're going to probably have to come down the middle. And if it's not the place to be, well, it's not going to be easy on the horse. But look, Vinny knows the horse well. If he could be 6th, 7th, one off, maybe 3 well with cover, we'll be happy with that. And as long as he's doing his best work late, we'll be very happy.
Johno, the markets are out for the Windsor Park Plate, and your horse obviously well supported, Scott Base. Can punters expect to see a better horse when he gets to the 1600?
I just think he probably expect to see a better horse, maybe with a run under his belt, and just that natural improvement. Look, 1400 is not an issue for the horse. It potentially is around Hawke's Bay because he may get back a touch, and it is very hard to make ground for the reasons I've just said. So, look, 1400, I think he's had 2 wins at 1400 and 1 at 1300, so that's not a problem. I suppose just natural improvement out of today to the mile was a beautiful transition, and obviously, yeah, he's going to be well placed in the next one if things go well today.
Johno, the second of your runners, Windspell, he jumps from barrier 4. Tell me the story around this horse and how he came about to be in your stable.
Yeah, look, he just came back. The owners brought him back from Australia, obviously being a colt. He's got good form in Melbourne, good Group 1 form, good around very good horses. He's Group 1 placed in New Zealand as a 2-year-old and a Group 2 winner in New Zealand. So, look, if he could win a Group 1 in New Zealand, probably a little bit of a step down from the Australian Group 1, he might be able to secure himself some stud duties. So, obviously, that's why he's back. We're happy with him. He's hard to get a line on the horse. We're still learning about him a little bit. He's a laid-back colt, possesses no tactical speed whatsoever. So he's going to get back a fair way. But look, same thing. If he's getting home strong at the end, we'll be pretty happy. I think he's a 1,600 metre, 2,000 metre horse, and he needs a dry track. So therefore, we haven't had a dry track to sort of speak of anywhere in the last few weeks. So it's been very hard to assess him. He's worked up a lot with Scott Bass, but Scott Bass obviously cops are off the track. Therefore, he's probably headed over Windspell most of the time. And where Windspell, you're just sort of hard to get a line on him because we haven't seen him ping off the ground yet. But he's fitting well, his action's good, he's in a good frame of mind, so probably a bit of watch and see, really.
All right, Johno, we appreciate your time here this morning on the Punters Lounge, and to you and the team, all the best in the Group 1 today.
Thank you very much.